Hello and welcome to this Murata webinar. Now I would like to introduce today's presenter. With us today is Alexander Vervuert. Alexander is the Senior Business Development Engineer of Business Innovation and Incubation at Murata Electronics Europe. To read more about Alexander today, please look at the speaker bio window right next to the main presentation window. And with that, I'd like to pass things along to Murata to get this webinar started.
Thank you for the kind introduction, and thank you all for joining this webinar about stretchable printed circuits for medical applications. My name is Alexander Vervuert, and I work in the Business Innovation and Ideation team at the Murata European headquarters located close to Amsterdam. So my role is to collaborate with partners and customers in the European ecosystem, together with Murata's R&D and innovation groups, to develop new products for medical applications using Murata's core technology. And in this webinar, I would like to make you aware how Murata's technology can enable and enhance new medical applications by sharing insights about the unique features and benefits of Murata's stretchable printed circuit compared to other technologies. So Murata Manufacturing is a Japanese comprehensive electronic component and module manufacturer founded in 1944. With an annual revenue of over $15 billion and over 73,000 employees. And we create cutting-edge technologies in many sectors, including consumer electronics, communication, automotive, and more recently, healthcare. And as an innovator in electronics, one of our core competences is R&D of cutting-edge materials. And this forms the basis of a broad portfolio of products. And another key strength is high volume and high quality manufacturing. And this is demonstrated by the fact that we produce, test, and ship over 1.6 trillion individual components every year all across the globe. So I will keep this introduction brief. So for more information about the company and products, I've included some information and URL at the end of this material for your reference. But now I would like to jump into the subject matter of this webinar, which is the stretchable printed circuit. Flexible printed circuit technology is ubiquitous in the electronics industry and enables a wide range of devices, including wearables in medical settings. However, FPC technology does have some significant drawbacks, specifically for wearable patches and wearables used in challenging environments, which we will go into deeper during this session. To fulfill the unmet needs of especially wearable electronic devices, stretchable printed circuit technology is now emerging from research to real-world applications to create wearable technology that is not only flexible, but can also stretch and conform to the surface that it's used on. Murata has a long history of developing innovative substrate, electronic component, and module manufacturing technologies, and is now leveraging those core technologies to take the next step in substrate evolution, the stretchable printed circuit. Murata stretchable printed circuit combines our core technology processes such as stacking and layering to create a hybrid stretchable printed circuit platform. And this enables very thin devices that can bend with a wide range of functionality of both printed electrodes and mounted SMD components, including sensors. As you can see on the cross-section on the right-hand side, the stretchable printed circuit is much more than just a substrate with printed electronics. The infrastructure is created with stretchable tracks on a stretchable circuit substrate, and electrodes and landing patterns are then printed in order to mount SMD components. To secure the SMD components properly in place, they are then potted with resin. And depending on the application, the stretchable substrate is part of a larger design with different elements. And the technology platform also includes a thin connection bond between the stretchable substrate and other substrates for easy integration. And finally, an encapsulation layer is added, and this serves multiple purposes. It insulates the electronics and protects it from the outside environment for robustness against high humidity, and also creates a biocompatible layer, which is very relevant for body-worn devices. So how can stretchable printed circuits benefit medical devices? For patient monitoring devices, traditional materials can cause not only discomfort, but even skin damage for the patient. And in particular, this can be relevant for sensitive skin, such as infants or elderly people. Stretchable printed circuit materials are very soft and so can avoid pressure points and sharp edges, reducing the risk of skin damage and also improving the comfort of use. In addition, traditional materials can also be a limitation to wear time. And stretchable printed circuits can make sure that electrodes can conform better to the skin and reduce the risk of detachment. And the benefit of this is enabling longer wear time and also better attachment on, for example, measurement electrodes to the skin. And this is especially the case on surfaces which are uneven and can sort of bend or twist during the usage of the device, such as joints or bony areas. As a further point, many applications require more complex functionality to be integrated, such as multi-parameter sensing. And Murata Stretchable printed circuit can combine printing and mounting to improve the functionality, all within a single device. For example, mounting functionality for signal amplification can be relevant for applications with very weak target signals. Accurate monitoring can also be even more difficult by, for example, noise artifacts due to the patient's movement. Functional devices can help with this problem, and these can also be mounted on the same stretchable printed circuit. An example where these different things come together is bioimpedance measurement electrodes, such as EEG. Stretchable printed circuits can enable a design which fits to the challenging curvature of the skull, for example, enabling long wear time while keeping the risk of skin damage low, especially when the patient is lying down, for example, and the soft and conformable materials can minimize pressure points. In addition, this concept can secure high accuracy due to the good adherence of the electrodes, in combination with the mounting amplification and, for example, inertial sensing mounting for high robustness against movement artifacts and noise. And this can all be realized on a single patch. The beauty of a stretchable printed circuit is that electrical performance is maintained even if the electrodes are stretched. However, this does bring the challenge that when stretched, the resistance of the tracks changes. And you can see the typical change of resistance increase over 100 cycles of 20% stretching in this data on the right-hand side. Murata has a lot of experience and tools to simulate the stretching effect to create the optimal layout, for example, the direction, width, and thickness of the tracks. Wearable patches and devices are often used for a long period of time directly on the skin, which can have a challenging environment in terms of the humidity, fluid, and high temperature that the devices can be exposed to. And traditional stretchable printed circuits are often based on a substrate material called TPU. And one of the downsides of TPU is that it has a low insulation resistance under high humidity circumstances, meaning that especially with high humidity and high temperature, ion migration can occur, creating short circuits between tracks, as you can see in the pictures on the left. Murata stretchable printed circuit has been designed to avoid ion migration as much as possible and ensure robust performance for long periods of time in high humidity and high temperature. The technology platform covers integrating various printed stretchable materials, and one of these is silver chloride for electrodes. Silver chloride is the standard material used for electrodes such as ECG, EEG, and EMG. And we have tested the electrodes according to the relevant regulatory standard, EC12, which is the main industry regulatory standard for disposable ECG electrodes. But it's also used for other bioimpedance patient monitoring devices. And our test results show that our stretchable printed circuit electrode technology meets the different performance and safety requirements within EC12. In order to allow various functions to be realized on stretchable printed circuits, the Murata technology platform allows for SMD component mounting on the stretchable infrastructure. And this can enable sensing for example, temperature, infrared light, inertial sensing, and others, as well as elements that can enhance this functionality, like amplification of weaker signals close to the source to enable high accuracy. You can see some testing example at the bottom of the page, where the movement artifacts do not significantly affect accuracy. So a recent stretchable printed circuit technology development is the ability to create multi-layer structures. By making via structures between layers, it's possible to stack and connect different layers on top of each other. For example, this can enable shielding layers to stop electromagnetic noise to affect the signal lines and safeguard the robustness of the device functionality. An additional usage of multi-layer technology is to stack tracks on top of each other to reduce the infrastructure real estate and allow for smaller and more compact devices. Next, I want to talk about the unique benefits of Murata stretchable printed circuit technology. As briefly touched upon in the introduction, the prevalent platform of medical body-worn devices is FPC. And in general terms, FPC is cheaper than stretchable printed circuits, but stretchable printed circuits can solve FPC challenges related to patient comfort and enable use cases on body surfaces with a high curvature or areas with a high twisting or bending motion. And where other stretchable printed circuit solutions can have challenges in high humidity, high voltage, or high temperature environments, in terms of insulation resistance, Murata materials and process technology is designed specifically to have a high robustness in this type of environment. In addition to this, by combining printing and SMD mounting on the same stretchable substrate, the platform gives a wide range of functionality that can be realized on a single integrated device. Stretchable printed circuit is a platform technology, and the variety of use cases in medical means that there is no one-fits-all solution. And it's really key to customize the design shape, the layout, and the functionality to individual use case requirements. You can see a couple of examples of this in the left bottom, ranging from an inertial sensing patch to a bioimpedance belt with printed electrodes to a grid array of temperature sensors for heat mapping a particular area of the body. But these are just a couple of examples, and we really want to collaborate with medical device manufacturers to create new products that provide benefits to patients as well as healthcare professionals in both functionality and safety. To do this, Murata provides support throughout the product creation process, from designing a customized stretchable device that meets the specific use case requirements, to doing the validation testing of that design with a special eye on the complexity of using stretchable printed circuits. And after creating the design together, we can seamlessly connect this to volume manufacturing in-house. We have mass production capability in our factory in Japan, and so we can support from the very early stages of design up to and including the manufacturing of products in a clean room environment to ensure high quality and safety. Thank you very much for your time and attention, and I hope that I've given you a good idea of how Murata stretchable printed circuit can enable unique products and solve challenges of existing technology. So I'm looking forward to hearing about your own product ideas and use cases and hopefully making them a reality together. So with that, I would like to move forward to the Q&A session.
Alexander, thank you so much for that great presentation. So as you mentioned, we are going to be taking some questions from our audience at this time. So I'm going to pass things back to Alexander so he can pick out a couple of our questions and answer them today. So Alexander, go right ahead.
So how much can the substrate be stretched? So the elongation of the substrate material is at least 100%. However, additional layers and materials such as the tracks can change the elongation. So roughly speaking, the tracks can stretch roughly 60%. But this depends very much on the layout design, the combination of other materials and layers. So therefore, it's important to look at the device design and the use case requirements together to assess the impact on stretchability. Well, what's the effect of stretching on sensor performance or accuracy? Yeah, so this depends, honestly speaking, on the type of sensor and the device design and layout specifics. But for example, our testing on an SMD thermistor, which is an analog sensor based on resistance change, which was mounted on a stretchable substrate, showed that after 100 iterations of 5% stretch, temperature reading was plus minus 0.5 degrees at stretch. And this was according to the sensor specification and meant that we didn't really see a significant change to the sensor accuracy tolerance due to stretching. And when it comes to digital sensors, stretching and sort of impedance change does not really impact the sensor performance as long as the digital signal line and the communication line is stable. What kind of functionality can be mounted on the stretchable printed circuit? So with regards to sensors, we have most experience in terms of validating manufacturability, stability, and reliability with temperature sensors, so thermistors, printed electrodes, and strain sensors, optical sensors, which is a combination of LED and the photodetector, accelerometers, and humidity sensors. And apart from these, we can basically mount any SMD sensor as long as they're 0.6, 0.3 in size or larger and 0.4 millimeters pitch or more. And we are also developing capabilities to mount other functionalities such as connectivity modules and batteries. What about the biocompatibility of the stretchable printed circuit? So in terms of biocompatibility, the stretchable printed circuit is only a part of the final, the total device. So we do ask our customers to do the biocompatibility testing with the complete device. But we have performed internal cytotoxicity testing and we saw no notable issues in terms of biocompatibility. So from this point of view, we have done testing to validate the biocompatibility of the stretchable printed circuit.
All right, Alexander, thank you so much for that great presentation. And thank you for answering some of our attendees' questions. And thank you all for taking time to attend this webinar event. Take care, and we will speak with all of you soon.